So how are you supposed to achieve meaning in this world in 2024? Is it even possible to achieve meaning? I think it's possible to achieve meaning, but I think it's also important to be open-minded to different sorts of interpretations as to what meaning actually means. What does meaning mean? And in this context, what I am referring to when I say meaning is to have a life that has a sort of purpose to it. To feel like you belong where you are. The thing is, you talk about meaning or you talk about happiness, and what you're really talking about is just having a life where you are satisfied with how you are living and what's going on and what you feel and what you think and what you're doing and whether all those things align, versus being at war with yourself. And I really think it is possible to be at war with yourself. And what that looks like is the different components of your psyche are clashing with one another. And this really does happen because I've talked about the you, like what is the actual you? So I mean, first of all, we have instincts. We have like primitive instincts, like reflexes, for example. Reflexes happen so fast, there's no possible way we could be doing them consciously. So we have primitive impulses, but we have impulses that are slightly less primitive, we could say. There are also impulses like hunger or lust or avarice. It's not to say that these things can't be useful to us, but they are unconscious all the same. And let's say there's a path in the road, there's a fork in the road between something that satisfies your lust and something that satisfies your hunger. Well, the one that you take will have to be determined necessarily by some higher reasoning. So we've been progressing along our evolution, and as our lives become more intricately webbed together with different people and different objects and different environments, different tools, different possibilities, it's become more and more complicated. There's been different paths of directions you can go to satisfy your hunger or your lust or your greed or whatever other, instinctive desires you have. That's why it's become necessary to have this sort of higher reasoning that we all possess. And as we move along that hierarchy, you could literally put this as a hierarchy, even though it can't be measured, so it's not really scientific. But I think our subjective experience can confirm this if you resonate with what's being said here. We're moving along this spectrum or continuum. I think it's continuum. So the continuum of consciousness, we would say. Spectrum is the wrong word. Continuum of consciousness. Until eventually we begin to approach, that is this thing that's like absolute awareness, like pure observer consciousness. And that's what we would think of as like an enlightened being or a Buddhist monk who achieves enlightenment, where you stop engaging in any of your more limited desires and you sort of just are able to appreciate life fully as it is, fully as an observer. But nobody's actually going to do that. So if you want to be a guy and go live in the mountains and meditate all day and eat 1 grain of rice each day, you could do that. But I think most of us probably don't want to do that. We want to live in this world and procreate and make a lot of money and try to find meaning some other way. But I mean, you can think of meaning as having like several standardized paths towards meaning. This is like strictly like, well, not strictly, but I think this advice would tend to be more so in alignment with what a man would want to do. That's not to say that a woman could not follow this advice and have it be useful. Just in my view, it looks like women should probably follow a different path, generally speaking. Generally speaking, okay? Everybody relax. I've been toying with this idea that like all the conventional paths that lead us towards meaning have been fulfilled already and they're closed up and we're not going that direction anymore. It's not going to work. At least that is in America. Maybe in like European countries or anywhere else in the world where there's like a foundational culture that can give you meaning, or if you're like a really religious person and there's like deep foundational roots of the culture and the environment that you were brought up in, that can be a source of meaning, I think. And that would fall into the conventional like standardized path towards meaning. However, I grew up in America, and in America we have the spirit of America, and the spirit of America is like anything is possible, you can do it, follow your dreams. And for a time that has sort of been the conventional path to success in America, and a path to meaning, more broadly speaking, is the point that I'm making. However, I think we're starting to reach a point that other than technological development, this explosion of American industry and culture is not ripe anymore. All the fruit has been picked for a long time, where America was the fastest growing economy in the world. And you don't want to be a part of the biggest economy. You want to be a part of the fastest growing economy. And that's what America was, but not because of any special policy that was implemented. We had our freedoms, yes, but it was also the fact that we had this whole country that we stole from the Native Americans, and it was ripe with opportunity for technological explosion. Like, I'm reading Benjamin Franklin's biography right now, and this thing is, there's just no possible way. There's no way that this man, if he lived in any other time, in any other, I don't know, maybe there's some other example of a time that he could have lived. But the point is that he lived in such a perfect opportunity for him to flourish. He opened up one of the first publishing houses in Philadelphia, and he instantly found success because the market was ripe with opportunity. And there was so much fun stuff for him to discover, and the spirit was just in the air during that time, because people kept coming to America during that time, and you could feel that something was really happening in the air in America. And that kind of environment is beautiful. And if you can find it, props to you, because that's not something you can find very easily. But if you can find that, then you can achieve that sort of meaning. But I mean, that's growing, and there's limited resources available. And like, our path towards meaning through industry, that was sort of Ben Franklin's like entire life philosophy, which he wrote down, luckily for us, which is that like, industry is that which will give your life meaning. I think he would say that. He had a sort of philosophy that God appreciates those who are industrious. And you can be industrious, but in this day and age, just getting a job and working that job, you're being industrious, yes, but it's not the same sort of industry where you're looking for new opportunities and you want to support your family and just clocking in and clocking out and doing what you're supposed to and getting a salary. It's not the same effect that it has on your psyche. It has the same effect on your wallet, maybe, but on your psyche, it's not the same as being back then in the 1700s, when there was infinite opportunity for anybody who came to America and who had half a brain and, was a little bit bold. So the point I'm trying to make is that this industry thing, for one small example, and I'm sure this applies elsewhere, is that the conventional paths for meaning are largely closed. The churches are corrupt. New Age spirituality is a scam. There's just no way for you to find meaning in so many of these conventional paths that used to be so popular. But I think that doesn't mean that you can't find meaning in your life in an unconventional way. And I think to do that, it's necessary to invent your own meaning. I don't believe anymore in searching for my own meaning. I'm going to invent my meaning, and I'm going to believe in it delusionally, even if it's wrong. Because even if it's wrong, if I have meaning in my life and it's satisfying to me, and I'm successful because of that delusional belief, I will stand by it. But I'm curious to hear what you think about such a crazy idea as to be inventing your own sense of meaning and believing in it delusionally. Like, I've been playing a lot of chess these past couple of years. I can derive meaning from chess, even though I know chess is meaningless and it's just pieces on a board. If I'm able to project my sense of meaning onto the board and realize that every time I win, I'm gaining points, I'm progressing in my life, even though it's an illusion, it's just a game, it doesn't really matter. If I believe in the illusion and I'm working a job and I'm earning money and I'm sustaining myself and I'm doing all the things I'm supposed to do and procreating and spending time with friends and doing all the things that I'm supposed to be doing, and I'm happy and I have my sense of meaning derived from chess or anything else which may give me meaning, then I don't know what the problem is. So would love to hear what you think. And of course, if you want to see more stuff like this, please subscribe. I'm always eager to talk to new people about these ideas, since I suspect that there's not many people out there who actually are interested in this kind of theoretical bullshit that is useful maybe now and then, even if at that. But yeah, thanks guys for watching. Bye.